Okay, well, good Friday afternoon, Jet fans. It is 1:55 p.m., January 17th, 2020, and this is Conference Championship weekend, where first game on Sunday, I believe at 3 o'clock, it will be the Tennessee Titans going into Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, to take on the Chiefs. And it will be at 6:40 p.m., the Green Bay Packers going over to San Fran to play the 49ers. Before we get into our matchups and our quick preview, it's been a crazy week in sports in and around New York. Um, it started early in the week when the Houston Astros and their coach and their GM was found stealing signs when they were coaching the Astros in 2017. Um, like I said earlier in the week, there was also reports of 2019 in the ALCS of sign stealing. Um, Alex Cora, who was I believe the coach of the Red Sox now too, he stepped down from the Red Sox. And I had mentioned that Carlos Beltran, who was a former Yankee, former Met, and is a new Met skipper, he and the Mets mutually agreed for him to step down yesterday. So something that happened 3 years ago, which included the Yankees as being part of the playoffs that it happened to, and the Dodgers. It reached a boiling point. It got to a head, and right now, four different people have lost jobs over this. Then there are conspiracy theories with Altuve, who won the MVP, as he made his way around the bases in the game-winning home run. You could see him telling his fellow teammates not to rip his jersey off. He kept his jersey closed. Um, when he was questioned about that from the reporter about not having his shirt ripped, he said that he didn't like that. He, kind of stepped around the question. There's also footage that shows, like I guess, a bump underneath the jersey on some players. It's just this whole thing is really taking a whole life of its own, um, to the point where some of the Astros had T-shirts on that said ALCS champions. Altuve didn't put that on until he went into the dugout, into the locker room and changed, and then came back out. So a lot going on. Baseball again seems to be in a mess. A few years back, 20 years back, it was the whole steroid scandal, um, and now it's back here. So that was around here. On the ice, the Rangers and the Islanders faced each other twice this week, and the Rangers came out victorious both times. First at the Garden earlier in the week, and then last night at the Coliseum, with just under 25 seconds, I believe, remaining in regulation. Um, the Rangers took the lead and then took the game. So if you're a Ranger fan, that's good for you. Islander fan, you guys have a great team. It's good to for us Ranger fans to get those two wins. Um, and we move on now to conference championship. First thing I'm going to say is I do not think Tennessee has a big chance of winning this game. Can they be in this game early? Yes. Can they get out in front early? Yes. I mean, the Texans proved that against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Titans proved that against the Ravens. They proved that against the Patriots. Um, I just think Kansas City is a different type of place to play in, atmosphere wise, um, the fans, the electricity. And I do know that Lamar Jackson is the MVP and a great quarterback, but I think Patrick Mahomes adds more uh, to this team. He gives them a different wrinkle. Um, they are the Chiefs are I believe a 7.5 point favorite. I think they cover that. I don't think this game is as close as people are making out to be. I think that it will be the defense focusing on Derrick Henry, and I think that forces Tannehill into becoming more of a quarterback this game and has to put up more than 80 yards, more than 75, 73 yards. So I'm going to go out and say um, that the Kansas City Chiefs win this game 31 to 16, 31-17. Um, and I'm going to say early in the game, maybe it's a 6-6 game. Maybe it's a 10-7 game, but I don't think it gets much closer than that. I'll even give the Tennessee Titans an early lead. Um, but as you can see last week, the momentum um, doesn't mean anything when you play the Chiefs. They were down 24-0 and just battled back, and scored 51 points after being down 24-0. They won 51 to 31. So they gave up 7 points after giving up 24 to their 51. Um, so I think Kansas City will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. 49ers Green Bay. I think this is a real good game. Um, Aaron Rodgers has been there before. His coach hasn't been there before. Um, Mike Pettin has been in two conference championship games with the Jets. Of course, they lost those two. But I think Green Bay, with Aaron Rodgers being there and being in a playoff situation and in a championship game situation and a Super Bowl situation, gives them a little bit of an edge. Um, I'm not going to take away from Garoppolo and Bosa and the San Francisco team. This will be a really close game. Um, if you tell me to pick a winner, right now San Francisco is favored, and if I was going to take the points, and I don't know what the points are. I think the points are less than a touchdown. I'd take the Packers because I think that's close it'll be. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's Packers, Kansas City. I think the Packers win this one 24-23. Um, and it's on a late field goal. So those are my calls. Kansas City and Green Bay will play the Super Bowl. That's what I think. I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco does win. I mean, they did have a great season, and Green Bay did have some games where they did not look that all sharp. Even in the playoffs against Seattle, they at some point looked like they could be beaten, but they held on. But I think Green Bay comes in very well prepared, and I think they win this game. All right, so there's really, now during the playoffs, not a lot of offseason talk about the Jets, but there are two things that pop up this week. The first thing is yesterday there was a report from somebody, I forgot their name, but they reported to ProFootball.com that Le'Veon Bell and the Jets are mutually agreeing to part ways. They're both looking for a team to go to. This reporter is also the same reporter who came out that said Mike McCagnon would lose his job when he did. So it is a credible source. Um, I would love for Le'Veon Bell to be on this team. I would love for Adam Gase to use him the way he should be used. I would love for us to have an offensive line that would help Le'Veon Bell be the runner he is. I want to give Le'Veon the benefit of the doubt and feel and say that it was the line and the way he was used. But on the flip side, I also want to say that maybe being out a year from football really made him lose a step. Maybe he's not the same runner he was. Maybe being aged again, that extra year. Um, but I'm not going to blame Bell. I'm not going to blame Gase. It just is probably not the right matchup that we needed. Um, I just go back to Rex and ground and pound, and who better than a great back like Le'Veon? But we don't have the line that we had back when we had ground and pound with Ferguson and Willie Colon and Mangold and you know and basically that's the rumor this week. It will probably play out as we get closer to the uh, the calendar for the new season, which is in March, and I believe free agency starts in March. So right now, this is being bounced around. Um, you know, if you're looking at that and you feel that Robbie Anderson may not be signed and Jamal Adams may be trade bait as well, you're losing three top productive players on this team, and that's what's scary. We can be going into next season without our safety. We can go into next season without one of our top wideouts. We go into next season without Le'Veon Bell, who's yet to prove himself on this team, but has proven in years past what he can do. So I'm a little worried, a little concerned about the direction of this team. But until things are being done, until transactions being made, really can't get too upset. Sticking with the Jets, sticking with ground and pound, sticking with Rex Ryan, and of course Mike Patton was in the conference championship game this year for the Packers. Yesterday, January 16th, or is it today? Or it might be today. Is the ninth anniversary of the Jets beating the New England Patriots in Gillette Stadium on a divisional round. Um, I said it after they lost to Pittsburgh that it would take a long time for us to get back to where we were. If you remember that entire season, um, things happened that really could have could have folded the team, and other things happened that really pushed the team forward. Of course, it started off. Um, the Jets signed Santonio Holmes. They had LaDainian Tomlinson. They had Jason Taylor come over. Um, and Taylor, who was a Jet hater, came over because he thought he had that chance to make it to get a ring. Um, you had Hard Knocks, which was great series, and I think the best series ever was when Rex and the Jets were on it. Um, you had Rex signing the Super Bowl bust, soon to be champion, New York Jets Rex Ryan. You had the issue with Mark Sanchez and the female reporter. Um, you had Santonio Holmes then being suspended for the first four games. You had the new stadium opening up, MetLife, and first the Jets and Giants opened up in the preseason, and then the Giants opened up on Sunday, the Jets opened up on Monday, and lost to the Baltimore Ravens in a game that they could have taken. Um, During the season, you had Rex Ryan and a personal issue pop up. Um, you had the Jets then go on a tear and 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 last minute wins over the Texans, last minute wins over the Broncos, back to back overtime wins with the Lions and the Cleveland Browns. Um, then you had the coach, special teams coach, or not special teams coach, that was Westphal, but the coach on special teams um, actually tripped a Miami Dolphin down the sidelines. Uh, you had the the big matchup of first place teams with the Jets and the Patriots, and 45-3 was the last um, the final score, and Rex taking that ball and burying the ball um, in the practice field over at Florham Park, um, and it was just an up and down um, situation. Just the team faced a lot of adversity. It was always under the microscope. Um, they go and they beat Pittsburgh in December, and they make the playoffs. They make a wild card, and they beat Peyton Manning. And the following week, they go into Foxborough, and Rex took this team under his wing, and he gave them the motivation. He gave them the inspiration. He brought in Dennis Byrd to speak to the team. Bird saying that not only did he could wish he could strap on the chin strap one more time for one play, not even a game, not a half, but one play, and to seize it. And the Jets go out into Foxborough. They're holding, Dennis Bird's jersey. Dennis Bird goes out there for the coin toss with them, and the Jets dominated. You know, um, the Patriots moved the ball downfield that first possession, and then David Harris picks off Tom Brady, brings it back to like the 20 something, and the Jets miss a field goal. But after that, it was Damian Tomlinson touchdown pass out of the backfield. It was number 17, I can't think of his name, with the beard, carrying people into the end zone. It was Santonio Holmes sprawling out the far left corner of the end zone for another touchdown. And then it was Sean Green basically putting them to sleep. If you remember him laying on the ball in the end zone, getting the personal foul because of that. 28-21. I think they sacked Brady 5 or 7 times. He was hit. He was beat up. It had, Belichick doing fake punts, and it was a bad snap. And walking off that field and turning around and looking at my father, my best friend, and my family was there. And I just thought from that point on, we're going to the Super Bowl. We have not been in a playoff series since we lost to Pittsburgh. That is the last playoff win we had was in New England. Um, the Patriots have been in, I believe, 4 Super Bowls since then. The Giants, Eagles, Falcons, and the Rams. Maybe something in between that. We've been Sanchez, Geno Smith, Tim Tebow, Fitzpatrick, McCown, and now Sam Darnold. Um, it was Rex Bowles and now Gase. Um, it was a great game. It was a great win. Um, and I can remember the day before there was a pep rally at the stadium, and it was an away game, so the stadium was open. ESPN there was there. It was Jody Mack and Brandon Tierney. I was speaking to both of them. Fireman Ed was there. Mark Gastineau was there. Ray Lucas, Joe Klecko. I walked on the field for the first time there in that stadium. And walking out, I was talking to Jody McDonald, who was an ESPN daytime sports talk reporter. And I said, Jody, what do you think? And he goes, I think we have a chance to win tomorrow. And I had this feeling we were going to win. And we did. And we moved on. And it was probably one of the biggest upsets um, to be called. And Rex Ryan called it the biggest win in Jet history, which I think was the first step back from progress to be made. The biggest win in Jet history was their Super Bowl. Maybe the second biggest win was that game, but it seemed like at that point the Jets kind of stumbled into Pittsburgh. But that was 9 years ago. I can remember Bart Scott with the "Can't Wait," excuse me, and we're still waiting as fans. We're still waiting as an organization, um, to take that next step. A lot has to be done to this team. It starts at the top. Joe Douglas will look at his offseason. Adam Gase will see him get another offseason. Where do these players go? Does Sam Donald have any weapons? Um, do they trade Robbie Anderson? Do they bring in Amari Cooper? For the love of God, stay away from Odell Beckham Jr. because he's just problems, just facing problems beyond facing problems. But that's where we are now. It's championship weekend. As Jet fans, we wish we could be preparing for this weekend. Stressed out and all. I really wish, we could be preparing. Um, and that's it. So check us out, www.nyjetstories.com, www.nyjetstories.com. That's NY Jet Stories is our Facebook page. At NY Jet Stories is our Twitter handle. On YouTube, on this channel, it's Alex Poziali, NY Jet Stories. Um, check us out. Um, give us what you feel your predictions would be. Tell us how you feel about this team. I know what a lot of people feel about Adam Gase. Um, and that's it. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. Hopefully, one day soon, 1 year soon, we can be talking about the Jets on championship weekend. But until then, sit back and relax and enjoy the games. Next week we'll have our Super Bowl preview, and I will talk to you soon.